Afternoon. This is the meeting of the Information Technology and General Services Committee, and the clerk. So we do have.
Yes.
Are these general public comment speaker cards?
1 second.
I believe we have one. And multiple item.
And it's
From a Herbie.
okay. I don't show that one.
We'll do, yeah, we can do general.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and take general public comments?
And do you also want to do multiple item at this
And
time?
yes, and we'll also take the multiple item, but it's not showing up here on mine. So forgive us. We're trying this new card system now. So
I don't believe Herbie is here.
okay, so going for FU Herbie once, twice. I don't know that he is here, so that will conclude general public comment and multiple speaker cards.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. So that will take us to.
We can go to item 30.
I'd like to actually recommend that items 3 through 14 be taken on consent if there's. Okay. So without objection, that'll. We'll go ahead and.
You have a speaker's card on 13.
Oh, we have one on 13. Okay, with the exception of 13.
Okay.
So those items will be approved. So let's go ahead and take item number 13.
Good afternoon, council members. John White, City Clerk. Item 13 is a CEO report relative to an agreement with Best Friends Animal Society to serve as the lead operator for the Jefferson Park Animal Shelter located at 3612 11th Avenue.
Okay. Mr. Jeffrey Mossner. Oh, hi.
Hi. Good morning. I'm Jeffrey Mousner. I'm a board member and second vice president of the Tarzana Neighborhood Council, and I'm chair of its Animal Welfare Committee. I'm also a volunteer at the West Valley Animal Shelter. No community impact statements have been filed on this yet, but I expect one to be filed shortly in support of it by the Tarzana Neighborhood Council. The Tarzana Neighborhood Council Animal Welfare Committee unanimously passed a resolution of support and request for a community impact statement on January 12th, and the full board of the Neighborhood Council is considering that at its meeting tonight. I expect it to pass overwhelmingly. I gave you a copy of the animal welfare resolution. The Jefferson Park Shelter will help to save the lives of the hundreds of cats, dogs, and other animals every year. And I thought we had 2 minutes.
It's 1 minute
Okay.
for the item, but we do have the item that you presented to us, and I
Okay.
want to thank you so much for making the time to come down and provide your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Without any objection, we'll go ahead and adopt that item as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Mr. Melzer said it's good. I know it's good. He does all that great animal work in our area.
And thank you so much for your service. And if Bob says you're good, then you're good. Great. Thank you so much. That will take us to items, actually 1 and 2 are related, so if we can take those together.
Yes, ma'am. Item 1, Department of General Services report relative to an agreement with Clear Channel Outdoor Incorporated for a double-sided billboard on city-owned vacant property located at the intersection of Highland and Franklin Avenues. Item 2, also a GST report relative to an agreement with the Lamar Companies for a single-faced junior poster sign located on city-owned vacant property located at the intersection of Highland and Franklin Avenues.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Dave Roberts, General Services, and Mike.
Michael Mendoza, General Services Real Estate.
Yeah, we're here to answer any questions you have about these 2 items.
Yes. I had a quick question. Why has it taken, so I know these have been operating on a month-to-month, why the now renegotiation in the lease? And
It is vastly under market. and they've been expired for some time. So as of last year, we started looking at our receivables portfolio, and we're starting to attack them little by little. So, not to paint a bad picture, but they had been ignored for a long time.
Okay. And so we're now going to try and get up to just keep current on all of the existing leases that have been expired at this point to renegotiate?
Yes, so I'm working my way through that portfolio now.
About how much more do you have to go? So I'm looking forward to seeing more of these because I know it's going to be an increase in revenue for the city,
Yeah.
given that I'm sure many of them are.
So this is two of many, and you'll see me a lot more from now.
Let's
going
give a
forward.
ballpark of the universe of leases that we have right
Ballpark,
now.
I want to say about 60.
Oh, 60? Okay.
That
They're
represents
not.
billboards.
They're not all expired. They're all different kinds of assets. Some are in the mall, and then the rest are spread out around the city in various locations.
And what causes the delay is oftentimes we're trying to get the valuations of these billboards or other type of properties, and it's been a cumbersome process. But it's getting better, and we hope that we'll have a cleaner presentation of the timing of them in the future.
Mr. Blumenfeld, did you have any questions?
Just follow up on your question. So there's 60 of these that are on city-owned property total, right?
Correct.
And then, I mean, it's pretty amazing getting 7 times the revenue for renegotiation. That's a great.
They have been expired for some time, and I think it was over 20 years that they hadn't actually been looked at. So, the X factor is a lot higher than what we normally see on a renewal.
And is there a way to create a system so that it doesn't, I mean, it's great that you're going through them now, and did you tell us about how long it's going to take to get through them? Maybe I'll ask that as a question. How long will it take to get through?
I can't give an exact answer on that. Each lease takes a little while to just get through the negotiation process, and then the formal BAV and some of the city processes, and then obviously the committee meetings, and then to council, and then also through the city attorney's office. So it is quite a lengthy process. Some can go really quick, as I've seen more with the nonprofits, and maybe something that's a little smaller. But some can take up to 4 to 6 months, in my experience.
Do you think there should be a procedural or process change so that it seems a little cumbersome, to go through all that when really all you're doing is reevaluating and renegotiating to get market rates? That there could be a process that it just will naturally happen, that things get reevaluated and brought up to market?
We do have a system that particular that lets us know where they are exactly, a master lease account of everything, and it's just a matter of us keeping up to date on all those near expiring leases so that it doesn't happen to the extent it is right now.
So to add on to that, I think I want to add that until I came on board early last year, no one was focused on the receivable portfolio. So that's my primary responsibilities. And so, like I said, you'll be seeing me more often, especially this year with a lot more lease renewals.
When you say receivable, you're not just talking about billboards. You're talking about a whole range of other things.
Yeah. So, for example, you'll be seeing me on communication towers up at Mount Lee pretty soon.
It's all great. I guess I'd like to see I'd like to have a better understanding of a system that can be in place, because the fact that we got to this point where it's relying on now your tenacity and efforts is a
So we are working on the Ams system, which I'm not sure if you're aware of, but that's going to be a fully integrated program that tracks all our nonprofits, receivables, payables, everything. In terms of streamlining, that's probably a question for our superiors over at GSD, something that there would be some major changes at my level. I'm not able to
Let me
produce
address that. I think you're looking at a strategy. Yeah. I think you're looking at a strategy. Do we have a strategy on how to address this so that it doesn't occur in the future?
Sure.
And we are working on that. And it's just going to take a little more time to refine it. But
Bernice Hollins, Office of the CAO. Just for clarification, the 60 that we're referring to also includes the nonprofit leases as well? Okay. So going back to over the last year, we've been implementing the new asset management database. That is giving us a greater control and inventory of what we have, our assets, and then who the occupants, the currently authorized occupants. We would not necessarily reactivate or renew all 60 of those leases. In some cases, there may be compliance issues. These are occupants that have been in a facility for a very long time. They weren't necessarily placed there by the current council member. So before we can just unilaterally look at like I said, extending all of these agreements, we actually have to go through a process with each council member to confirm that this is still the purpose that they want at that facility. But beyond that, we've also been working as part of a interdepartmental working group on introducing a new policy specific to nonprofit leasing. So to a degree, GSD has not proceeded with an accelerated plan for renewing the nonprofit leases, waiting for this policy to come forward so that we could then act in consistency with the new policy that's adopted. All that saying, it's been a long process to get us to the point where we have a great inventory of what is lapsed. We do have a plan. We have been working with all the applicable parties to come forward to present a policy and then to go for it with an aggressive plan for bringing everything current, but again, taking the direction from each of the respective council offices.
Terrific, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay,
That
thank
actually
you.
is very helpful, and I know the asset management system is something that, has been cataloging everything so that we could kind of have a sense of what we've got currently in the queue, what's set to expire, and so appreciate knowing what that process is going to look like.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any additional questions? or- Okay, thank you so much. So,
You submitted cards.
okay, Mr. Herman, so we'll go ahead and take you for items 1 and 2.
Is that multi or is that one item? You said the officer, Sergeant Arnold said you guys were done.
We're on item 1 and 2 right now.
So in CD4, which I'm assuming belongs to Mr. Bloomfield's area, we're dealing with a report of a double-sided billboard. Now, how much more billboards do we need in this city? How much more blight? Don't you fucking people get it that we're tired of you taking away our free space? Space to enjoy the qualities of not having a double-sided billboard? Isn't one fucked up side enough to have in your neighborhood or in your community? And then on item 2, the same fucking number, CD4, asshole, deals with the report agreement, fuck Lemoore Corporatives or companies, for the fucking single-phase junior poster sign. Well, you should use some of Nuri's posters in the located city-owned vacant properties so that people know where to get what? Deodorant. People who know where to get a tampon. People who know where to discharge or discard their condoms and their tampons when it comes to what? $210 per month to use the so-called Highland and Franklin Avenue rental area of junior poster sign located on city-owned vacant property. Doesn't that sound fucking stupid? How the fuck do you take vacant property and decide to rent it for $210, but you don't want to include Nuri, her poster on hygiene? Because we have the largest population of homeless. Wouldn't it be a great idea to for show how and why HHH was never enforced?
Thank you, Mr. Herman.
Yeah.
Okay. So without objection, item 1 and 2 will be adopted.
Thank you.
And on item 15, please.
Yes, ma'am. Item 15, ITA and city attorney reports and ordinance, renewing an expired private line franchise to Catholic Charities of Los Angeles for the continued maintenance of a fiber optic conduit in the alley public right-of-way near 1671 Beverly Boulevard and 1650 Rockwood Street.
Yes, good afternoon, council members. William Imperial, ITA, Information Technology Agency, of course. I'm a telecommunications regulatory officer for the city of Los Angeles. This matter involves, if you want a little bit of background, involves a telecommunications private line franchise that the city had already granted to the Catholic Charities of Los Angeles in 2007. This is a renewal request and application that is put before you today, and also a draft ordinance from the city attorney's office involving a alleyway that connects two of the Catholic Charities of Los Angeles buildings by way of an alleyway, and they use the data lines to transport only within their business or church activities that data that is involved in their operations.
Thank you. I only had one question, and that was is the structure of the franchise agreement and the fees, is that the same, or has it changed from what it was previously?
No, the terms and conditions are the same.
Okay.
There is no rate increase. There hasn't been any new build to it. It's one small little fiber line
Okay.
that runs between the two buildings.
That was my only question. Did you have any questions?
No additional.
Okay, so thank you so much. That was my only question. So without objection, that will be adopted as well.
And thank you for taking this.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So have we cleared the desk?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. We are adjourned.